And there we go. I started up high and wanted to get a nice shot of just this beautiful foggy morning sunrise over here. It's quite early, it's not even 7 a.m. yet. And I'm out to enjoy the cool morning air and the lovely fog. And as you can see, it's like I'm walking in a cloud. That's what it's like here in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. This wonderful rolling hill shire is part of the Smoky Mountains here in East Tennessee near the border of Virginia and North Carolina. And it's beautiful here. And I'm very thankful to have grown up being part of an ethnicity that's still an ethnicity, of a people who haven't forgotten who they are. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I finally released an article for my Substack called Plastic and Wood. It's an article I started last year before I got busy with Empire of Lies and kind of shelved every side project I was doing. But the article is a bit short, but it didn't need to be longer than it is. It was going to be short originally anyway, so I don't feel bad about that. And it was an easy one that I could make myself finish and get out the door. So that's why I went back to that one first. I have a couple of others that I started, and I don't know how long they're going to be, so we'll see. But I'll link Plastic and Wood in the description of the video and in a pinned comment, just so you can go check it out. But in Plastic and Wood, I talk about how I feel like it is a detriment to existence for everything that we touch and use to be just so discardable and fake. And I don't know if this comes from a place of me getting older, or if it comes from like a grug-brain Luddite energy of there needs to be more of me in the things around me. I don't know. I don't really know where this comes from, but I do want to talk about this and how it sort of makes me think and feel. About how it makes me think and feel in regards to what's going on in my own life, my personal life. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in the video today. I have a husband who loves me. And like you guys know, I don't like sex or romance. My husband is basically just my best friend. And we basically been together for like 15 years. Like we're not like, you know, it's a good relationship between people who aren't interested in sex and romance. I'll put it that way. We care about each other deeply. Each of us have cousins and nephews and nieces. We have parents and aunts and uncles who love us. We have healthy families. We are not outcasts or black sheep that have to live without human connection. Far from it. Like, I almost said his name. My husband and I, we are well liked by our families. We have friends. So I'm not alone. I'm not alone here. I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying that. I'm not. I see friends and family plenty. But I still feel this ugly energy like I am alone. Because we don't really do anything anymore that is our ethnicity. I grew up between two farms. My family were not farmers, but we grew up basically on a farm, like between farms, like a lot of people around here. So I grew up knowing about farming and fishing and hunting and going out into the woods and what berries you can and can't eat and what kind of animals are safe and what aren't, learning about insects and snakes and all kinds of stuff. I learned about how to churn butter, how to make a funnel cake. I learned about how to reload ammunition. I learned about how you cut down a Christmas tree and do all this other stuff and why people don't use real trees anymore because it's a huge mess and a chore. I learned about how to carve a pumpkin for Halloween and a whole bunch of other stuff, just thousands of things. That contributed to me having an ethnic identity, right? Well, the people that I grew up with around my age, let's say between 35 and 50, right? My, like, late Gen X generation people and early millennials, right? Those people in my family that are my age, we are kind of the last vestige of a real ethnic experience because their kids are like 15 and younger now. And they did not get any of the experiences we did. Internet, TV, video games, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, and to spend time around my family and the friends of my family who have kids that are, let's say, younger than 20. But I'm specifically talking about kids like 8 to 15. What I hear them talk about is almost indecipherably different from what I would hear a random 13-year-old talk about from anywhere else on the internet. They make references about TV shows and internet memes and podcasters and internet drama, and they talk about stuff about, I don't know, like regular kid stuff, but it's like, it's all cookie cutter kid stuff. When I was a kid, I didn't talk about like just the current thing, and most of the people in my school didn't either. We talked about stuff that we did every day. We talked about the things we engaged with. We liked movies and video games, but we talked about hunting and fishing and going out and exploring and where you guys going for summer vacation and, you know, are we going to go scuba diving? Do you guys like to go to this place or that place? And we would talk about doing things that were like ethnic things, like Appalachian things. We loved going to Dollywood. We loved talking about, I don't know, like bluegrass music and what family was doing what with what other family and what was going on in the local area. Like, that was a big part of what me and the other people my age talked about when I was a kid. And I'm not saying it was like all that, but it was a lot of that. And I don't feel any of that from the children of my family that I grew up with. And it's not because, like, the family that I have are like paused anti-white shitlibs that are city folk and teach their kids pause. No, they're a lot like me and regular folk around here. They don't like that stuff, but they're just normal people. And normal people are kind of lazy and thoughtless. They just go with the flow. They just go to work because they want to get their cigarettes and get their beer and watch their sport ball and come home after a long day's work and not have to think about shit. That's what most people are like around here. And I would argue that's how most people are everywhere. That's just, from what I've seen traveling around this country and going to a couple of other countries, it seems like regular people are always that way. They just don't care. They want to be left alone. They want to be chill and feel good after work. They want to do as little as they can to just be chill and get through life. And that's what it is like for people around here. And that hurts me because I don't know how to fix that. Like, I hear people like Jason Kuna talk about how we're not all going to make it through, or we won't all pass through the eye of the needle. And I hear other people say stuff like, well, we ain't all going to make it, or, you know, there's going to be a great culling coming, or something like that. I don't know. It makes me sad because I feel like because of technological comforts and the advancements of communication technology, plastics, which is one of the reasons I made Plastic and Wood the article, and this ever-growing need for the leadership, the people who rule us, to be more invasive, to know what we're thinking and feeling, and to change that with subliminal messaging and advertisement and gaslighting and intimidation. Like, it's to a level unprecedented in human history. And everyone just gives that device of mind control to their child as young as possible, even here. Smartphones, internet, video games, just right to your kids from the moment they're like 3, sometimes even earlier. I don't know how to fix this. Like, I believe in the ingenuity, the nobility, and the capability of my race, the white man. But I don't know. When I think on it, things have changed a lot. And I wonder, how are we going to make it? How are we going to make it when everything is so different now? Nothing's like it used to be. People don't make families and build community like they used to here. Yet another car coming. It's been a busy morning. That's like the 7th car I've had to edit out. Or I'm going to have to edit out, obviously. Haven't edited it yet. I'm still recording it. But it worries me because when I see the children of my own family and the friends of our family here, they don't talk like us anymore. They don't have that Appalachian twang. They don't know the euphemisms and the words and the lexicon that me and my family know. Most of which I'm not even going to say online because I don't want that ethnicity to get spoiled or stolen. And it makes me wonder, how, like, in another one generation, is there even going to be an Appalachian ethnicity anymore? Is there? I don't know. I worry. Ethnicity is more than just blood. It's custom, song, tradition, experience, language, customs. And all of that stuff gets packaged as traditions. Traditions. I asked one of my cousins recently, who's got 4 kids. I asked him about traditions, and he said that they just don't have any interest in it. And he's not like a wonderful guy. He's not like, this impeachable, perfect gentleman. He's not. Like a lot of us, he made mistakes when he was younger. He drank too much. He smoked for too long. Made some bad choices with some loose women, like a lot of dudes do. He ain't perfect. But he's not a shitty dad. Like, he's been a good father to his children. And until things fell apart with his wife, he was a loyal husband. So he's got 4 kids. She's gone now because she became a total mess. But that's personal information I'm not going to get into. So he's... Once they were mostly, out of being little kids, he's been a single dad. And he's tried to get them to engage with things that are more Appalachian ethnic, like wanting to go to some of the old-timey sites around here and learn their history, and go to Dollywood more, and, just take in some of the local stuff. Like going to Dollywood and looking at historical sites and stuff around here and getting involved with... Well, not to spill the beans too much, but me and my family have connections to bluegrass that goes all the way to Nashville. And a lot of people in my family have played for famous people, even Johnny Cash. And so there's a rich history of banjo music and guitar music, learning how to play things like hammer dulcimer. And our family has a long history of that, but not anymore. The youngest person in our family that we can find now that plays an instrument well and enjoys it is almost 40. So that's all gone from our family now. Even though we're not gone, there's dozens of us. Dozens of us. And the more that I assess what's going on in my own family, the more that I learn about what the children of my cousins and my husband's sisters, because he doesn't have a brother anymore, his sister's kids, and then sort of through his friends, I learn about their kids a little bit. From gleaning what I can about all these kids that are younger than 20. Like, nothing makes them Appalachian at all, really. Nothing. Other than they grew up here. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I don't know. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I feel like this era we live in, of smartphones, like I'm holding in my hand right now, and this phenomenon of every regular person being mentally jacked in to millions and millions of other people all the time, every day, instantaneous information exchange. I feel like this technology alone, even if used in a benign manner, which we know it most certainly is not, would weather away, would erode our ethnic identities. Because to have an accent, you got to grow up intuiting it, or be just really good at imitating it, I guess. But the reason people speak different and talk different is because of that's imparted to them. It's imparted to them, hey, this is the expression of our genetics that we use here in this tribe. This is how you talk. This is what this means. This is what this gesture means. This is what these sounds mean. And this is how we talk to identify each other. And almost none of the kids that are younger than 15 or 16 that I've met and talked to in my own friend and family group, they don't sound like us anymore. They just sound like a generic Southern, like somebody you might hear on broadcast TV in Virginia or something. They don't sound really at all like they're from here anymore. And they grew up here. I know they did. And so I didn't push the issue. Like, I didn't spend time, probing my nieces and nephews, like, so what do you think about this? Or has anybody ever taught you about this? Like, I didn't probe any of them that way. That just felt kind of wrong and ugly. But I do talk to my nieces and nephews sometimes. Not at length, but just, friendly. I ask them what's going on at school. You got any cool new toys or anything? And the answer is never really anything interesting. They always tell me about stuff that's going on in their social group or in their Discord server or people they're playing online video games with. Like, there's an entire era coming where people will not even associate real interpersonal community as anything valuable. It's only something to be done that's a mandatory step to getting to your online socialization. That's the energy that I feel coming from the young people in my family I talk to. Now, I know that as a kid, I wasn't always thrilled to go to family functions. I wanted to stay home so I could play in the woods, or I could play that new Nintendo game I got, or because I just really was into this particular kind of book, or I wanted to stay home because I was more interested in reading the old World Book encyclopedias we had, instead of going to some boring old fart-smelling meeting with a bunch of old people in my family that were boring. I remember those days being a kid. That's what it was like. I get it. But I wonder how much of this erosion of the Appalachian ethnicity is simply a difference between plastic and wood. Plastic representing the modern... There's a highway not too far that way. If you can hear the noises, there's a lot of cars this morning. The Appalachian ethnicity is being eroded in front of my eyes. Every year, I see foreigners, white or non-white, buying property here, starting businesses here. And I hear, through the grapevine, through my family, through my mother, through friends of the family, that most of the kids that grew up here, they're either not having kids or they're moving away. Now, there's a lot of people here who ain't forgot who we are. But are we a dying breed? Are we all that's left? I wonder sometimes. Because there are more radical amongst us who say that our future is off the internet, taking a more hard left or Luddite approach to subsistence living, creating compounds of our folk. Like, people are doing this up in the Pacific Northwest. You got people doing it out here. You got some people in Kentucky doing it I've talked to. And it makes me wonder, how correct are they? Because I do want the white race to survive. And I do agree with my intellectual friends, like Charlemagne, Raging Mandrill, who I'll be streaming with tonight. All kinds of people that are intelligent, that I respect. They say being a Luddite and trying to wall yourself off or trying to build a small government is a waste of time. We live in an era of giant government machines and bureaucracies. And unless you're willing to engage with that and intelligently build a plan with other motivated people to take control of that beast, then you're going to get crushed by that beast. I think there's a lot of merit to that. I think there is a lot of wisdom in that kind of thinking. And and many of my friends have kind of persuaded me against the let's just let the machine die. They think that we need to try to take more control of it or it's going to kill us all. And honestly, I'm split. I'm split on that camp because I know that we live under probably the most oppressive government machine that's ever existed. I get that. But at the same time, though, our people have survived plagues and wars and interracial wars and religious crusades. Our people have survived all matter of mess. I just wonder, what is the right tactic? That's why I don't really shame people who want to just, disengage from culture and technology and live on a compound or go, start their own Waco somewhere. Like, that's cool. Like, that calls to me as an Appalachian. But I just wonder if that's going to be enough. I don't think it is. And that's another reason why a few years ago, when I got really big into the Go Free method and learned about what Jason and the White Wellbeing community are doing, I like what they're doing, because they want to inject healthy mimetic concepts and language into this churning machine to try to help inoculate as many white people as that vaccine can reach, so to speak. And I think that's also a really smart application for the modern era we live in. I think that's really smart. So I like that too. I just don't know what the answers are, and it's been worrying me lately. Because I don't really feel connected to my family anymore. I've always been a weirdo. But in the last 20 years, being an adult, trying to do different things to build a life, I have, like a lot of people, as you get older, you get separated from the people that you were connected to younger in life. And in pursuit of trying to have that again, I've learned that there's really nothing for me to connect with much anymore. The paths I've gone down, the way that I've elevated my mind to think on and to see everything around me, it's made me feel even more alone than I did. Like, learning about all this culture war stuff, unveiling all the lies of the boomer truth regime that became the anti-white narrative, all the lies about World War II and the aftermath and all this holy hoax bullshit, learning about how everything in media, learning about how the CIA was allowing or disallowing different ideas or content creators to be allowed by record labels back in the 60s. Like, it just makes all this stuff that I've learned makes me feel even less connected to everybody and to any kind of real identity. Because I've learned that the American identity, that not just me, but my parents grew up in, my boomer-ass parents grew up in 70 years ago, that was fake. That was already a fake, false patriotic identity. Already. And so, despite the patriotism and the love of God and country of my kin around here, the thing that they think they believe in doesn't exist. And their identity as American patriots has been a fucking lie since before any of us were born. And so I can't have real connection with them on that anymore. And like, when it comes to being a real Southerner and having Southern pride, I connect to them a little bit on that still. But what the hell do we have to be prideful about anymore if our own kids don't give a shit about our way of life and our traditions? And if the parents who supposedly have Southern pride just let their kids play around on tablets and stuff and just absorb everything from Disney and all these other anti-white media conglomerates all the time, and then the kids don't even look or sound like us anymore, they're not interested in the shit that makes us unique, they're not going to have Southern pride. We'll be lucky if they have any kind of white identity at all, let alone an ethnic identity, let alone an Appalachian identity. And this kind of shit bothers me. It bothers me. I feel like I'm experiencing the end of everything. Like, everything that I was raised to think is good and real and true and permanent was either a lie or hope in a lie told to me with truthful words. Because I don't see, around here anyway, anything that I consider to be a real movement to preserve and enshrine Appalachian identity and culture. That hurts me to say that. A lot of people around here still act like we are who we are. But I can't find anyone, either in my family or otherwise in my immediate area, that is doing anything different than they were doing in the 90s. Work, go to church, maybe hunt and fish a little bit, talk about sport ball, drink beer, maybe get high on the weekends if you're a weed kind of hillbilly. And then you find a wife and you have a bunch of kids and you hope some of them turn out okay. That's pretty much all anybody does around here. I feel like I need to start the Appalachian Defense League, have my own ADL up in this bitch. I don't know. But this stuff weighs on me because I care. But my experiences with people make me not want to care. because I don't feel like any of them care. And I know that's an ugly thing to say because I don't think most people can even cogitate on the things that I cogitate on. It doesn't bother them like it bothers me. I don't know. This is going to be a long video. I know I'm going to have to cut out like 17 or 18 cars. I'll count and put the number here. But that was it was a lot of cars this morning. Probably because it was so close to 7. A lot of people going to work, I bet. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. The sun's starting to come out. The fog is lifting a little bit, but it's still pretty hazy and glowing back there. So anyway, I'll face the camera this way when we're done. Empire of Lies this week, Thursday night. And you can catch me visiting Raging Mandrel's stream about a very interesting book, Days of Rage. Maybe check that out tonight. I'll be visiting with him. I'm not exactly sure when that will be live or when it comes out. But I think we're going to record it this morning. So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be a live stream or not, because I haven't done this with him before. It's reading and responding to passages in a very interesting book. So, I don't know if we're going to do that live or not. We'll see. But regardless, I will put links to it in the pinned comment along with the Substack article. And I'll see you guys Thursday night for Empire of Lies. Love yourself and love your kin, and do everything you can to breathe life into your ethnicity, your family, because somebody needs to. In this era of emptiness, hollowness, and ersatz fake identity, we need genuine people making genuine culture. Contribute to that however you can. I love you guys. Have a great week. God bless.